All right, guys. I want you to watch this because, I want you to watch this real quick and I'm going to explain something after. Which isn't actually true, because if it was true, we wouldn't be experiencing the kind of confusion that we're experiencing now. I'm going to continue. Now, I want you to understand that Kurt is literally the pioneer of doing that specific thing, especially whenever it comes to tarot readings. His tarot readings were some of the most popular content on his channel. He says he was doing this for 8 years. This year, he stopped doing it and he deleted them, and he's just pretending like they didn't exist, like he wasn't, you know what I mean? But it's not like anything else he's doing has changed. It's just he stopped doing that momentarily. He could start doing it again. He stopped and started before, but you know, this time it was rather quiet. I think it's because people have started to catch on, whereas before he was like, I'm done, I'm finally done, I'm no longer gonna do it, you guys, I I'm, my morality is too high. But he'd been doing it for like 5 years at that point, 5 6 years at that point. It's like, anyway, continue. Oh yeah, but how that contributed is because all the stuff that you see, a lot of the people who talk about twin flames, like especially the tarot readers, were doing. They learned from him. They learned from him. All the people that talk about twin flames in order to manipulate them, except for a couple people, in order to manipulate them and take their money, a lot of them learned from him. And it's just about being a good salesman and pitching a certain message, but it's like having no desire and no ability to deliver on it. And actually, what you were saying wasn't even your words. It was just a compilation of other people's words that you put together that sound good. Anyway, continue. It's not people with like mental health. I mean, there probably we was attracting people with mental health problems. You could see how that would work, but that's not mostly what was coming. It's not mostly what was coming. I mean, people with mental health conditions will be attracted to anything. It's not like it wasn't like moths to a flame. He'll say that, but that's not true. And especially whenever it comes to twin flames, that's the kind of gaslighting he'll do to anybody who actually met your twin flame, and especially if you've talked to him and taken his course and stuff, you already know what I'm talking about. And in fact, he goes out of his way to say, "Oh, well, he'll even probably say here in this video, a lot of the people who actually did meet their twin flame, whenever I tell them, they're like, oh, and whenever I tell them they didn't meet their twin flame, they're like, oh, that makes sense." Whenever it's some shit like that, and I'm saying it's like, realistically, you either did or you didn't. Realistically, you either did and you didn't, and you either have, if you didn't, you have like mental health problems or other such things that's basically having you focused on a person, or maybe you're just like lovesick. There's lovesick people who want someone that they really like to be their twin flame or something or whatever. So they try, they really like somebody, and so they really really want that person to be their twin flame, so that, because that would mean that, like, oh, they're destined to be together or something. And so, you know and then you hear some of the stuff that Kurt says, like, oh yeah, no, you, which is why he doesn't say a lot of the stuff he says anymore, and why he was anyway. But it's like a lot of the stuff whenever it comes to the how guaranteed it is that they will come back or not, and in what fashion that will be. Right? And he was making guarantees that are not able to be delivered by these people that he's saying had mental health issues, which to some degree there I'd say definitely were people that had that, but majority wasn't. He's saying it was like moths to a flame. It was not like that, because a lot of people who probably were who did meet their twin flame, whenever if you met him while he was going through it, if he even experienced that, I don't even know. But if you met him whenever he was at his worst going through it, you would look at him like he's crazy. So then you're coming to him trying to get help whenever you're like that, and he's just like, oh, you're a mental health person, you're a crazy person, you didn't actually meet your twin flame. Yeah, you're gonna be touched about that shit. It like hurts because you're going to someone who you think is gonna help you. You know what I mean? I don't know. But he can't. That is what he considers help, actually. And in fact, that's the thing he gives to everybody. That's his method. It's not a method. That's just him telling you that he doesn't know what he doesn't know what he's doing. He doesn't know how he doesn't know. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He doesn't really know what he's doing. You know, here's some stuff over here that he's trying to market to you, but it's not a lived experience from him. If it was, he wouldn't be so. I mean, I'm not even going to go into specifics, but just for the layman, he wouldn't be doing any of the stuff that he's doing in terms of scamming people and lying to people and intimidating people and doing all this sorts of stuff. He wouldn't be doing all that. And he wouldn't have this massive ego that he's trying to protect all the time. It wouldn't be doing all that. It just wouldn't be happening. Now, you may not see that he has a massive ego that he's trying to protect, because to the layman, a lot of those people are in the same boat, which should tell you everything. But it's like, how could you expect someone who's in the same boat as you to help you get to a destination they've never gotten to? And how do you know? Because they're in the same boat as you. They're in the same boat as you. That's how you can tell. Easy to tell. Now, what I'm saying, right? There is a clear distinction as to who did and didn't meet their twin flame, and and it's very specific what a twin flame is, and obviously what it isn't. Everybody's largely talking about what it isn't and their discontentment with that, right? But even whenever it comes to what it's like, all the just regular relationships, which is what generally people are dealing with, as you know, which is just basically their own karma. They're dealing with their own karma, basically. That's really what it is. You know, people say karmics and these sorts of people are dealing with their karma, and I'm not talking about karmic necessarily in terms of a person, but they're dealing with their karma. Their karma includes the karmics that come to them, right? Which is just about, for a lot of those people, everybody. Right? But the karma isn't the people. You know, it isn't really the places or necessarily the things, because the people, the places, and the things are interchangeable. If you went to a different place and they've probably likely had this happen, the same thing happens in the different places that they go to. I can help such people with that such thing too. That's a very different, and that's at the core of the spiritual process, actually. But if we're talking about twin flames as the spiritual path, that is a very specific and unique path. Okay? And it's best to just leave those who are experiencing that to work amongst themselves. Okay? And I'm here to make a very clear distinction and a clear delineation. But also at the same time, I'm not adverse to helping anybody and everybody else with just about anything and anything else they possibly could want, specifically spiritually. Okay? That's what I'm here for. But yeah. Anyway, that's the video. I didn't want to make it too long. Just about 10 minutes. Nice. All right. Peace out.